Second? Let's do it. All right.
Cool.
Demasked, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Teddy Summers. I've been doing haunted house things for, this is my 21st year.
Oh, right on. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
How'd you get involved in haunting?
I started at a small haunted house in Louisville, Kentucky called the Baxter Avenue Morgue. Um, my cousin and my mom worked there. So I finally made it to 14 years of age, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come scare people?" And I was reluctant, but I was like, I don't know what it's all about. So I walked through, and as soon as I walked through, I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do that for sure." So that's pretty much how it started. Is my mom and my cousin were already in it, and then they were like, "You want to give it a shot?" And there it was. I haven't stopped since.
That's
So,
awesome.
mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So you've been doing it for, what you said, 21 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of years. Yeah, this past year was my 13th.
Nice.
So I started when I was a wee little lad.
Yeah, I was 14. I turned 35 this year. So,
right
yeah.
on. Yeah. So you
So-
started when you were young too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. How'd you get involved here at Dark Hour?
So I was previously working for a different company. Myself and my business partner, Boston, we left. This was in Indianapolis, Indiana at the time. We posted that, hey, we're free. The next day, Alan said, you work for me. We hopped on a plane. We moved to Dallas. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that's pretty much how it went. We had been the previous company we worked for. I was the creative director of 8 haunted attractions across the United States.
Wow.
Boston was the technical director of that same group, and we had just done a lot of work. We've always been pretty open about our work and trying to show it. We were also teaching classes at Trans World and MHC and stuff like that, and we had met Alan. I had met Alan by teaching a class with him that year prior. So he had already kind of known who I was. Boston had actually come and worked here many years ago, just as a guest makeup artist. And when the opportunity came, Boston, we built escape rooms. Dark Hour had an escape room job. So we were hired to fabricate, set dress, and do some of the electronic work for the escape room. We were on a 6-month contract. When 6 months ended, we were hired on full time.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And what a cool place to land, Right
Yeah.
now, by the way, if you hear background noises, it's right now we're doing this in the middle of Dead by Dark Hour.
Yeah. The show is live right now, so I have my phone open and my radio handy to make sure that I can.
You're a man with
can
responsibilities.
Yeah, during season and 4-hour shows, I'm the casting director of the show, and then I work here 40 hours a week full time. When I'm not doing that, I also am a creative designer, creative artist. I also handle a lot of our IT needs, all of our desktop work, and I do a lot with our media department, and I also work with our website. And YouTube. I do a little bit of everything. So that's partially probably why I landed here, is because I have a very
Jack of all trades.
I have a very wide array of things. So
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, it's an amazing show we walked through before doing this. Really amazing, super awesome, really cool show.
appreciate it. Glad you liked it.
Yeah, what it's some of your challenges like during the off season, because you say you do this full time. What are some of your challenges during the off season?
If you would have asked me this 2 years ago before I got here, there would have been a really long list of challenges. But ever since I came here, Dark Hour is a very well-oiled, consistent machine. There are changes that come flying, as you do have in the haunt world, but it's very professionally ran, and as such, I'm expected to be a professional as well. And with that just comes consistency. Our show can run itself. I'm just here to put out any fires. We've worked really hard on our systems to make sure that the show runs well, especially in the last 2 years. We've done a lot of changes to Dark Hour in the last 2 years, not only just with the sets, but with the infrastructure, with the culture, with a lot of those things. So right now we're out of the growing pains of me taking over casting and doing stuff like that a little bit. And we're there's not a lot of challenges. I think the only challenges are when Alan comes up with something so off the wall crazy that
Yeah.
we have to actually put our nose to the pavement and figure out what exactly we need to do to make that happen. But to be honest, I don't have a lot of day to day challenges. So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in that we have a boss like Alan and a team that works with us and does a lot of great work,
Right.
a lot of good consistent work, and a good system in place. Partially, part of that was here before I got here, and a lot of it is just ever growing, and we're constantly thinking of ways to streamline and make things faster but better at the same time, and you know, have less problems.
That's cool. Yeah, it's all about streamlining and
Mm-hmm.
doing what you can,
Right.
you know. That's yeah, I was really impressed by the actors and the sets and stuff like that. Do you help build sets at all or
Yeah.
yeah.
So I do a little bit less in the construction side.
Okay.
I do what Shannon would like to say the sexy work. So I
Okay.
make things look pretty and scary and gory and nasty and slimy and goopy or old and dusty and musty and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a construction guy, though throughout the years, of course, I've been forced to be. So I can build just about anything that isn't too terribly complicated, but that's just not my forte, so I don't do that. I do a lot of the detailing work. So a lot of the come in, paint it, add the cobwebs, add the this, add the that, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. Yeah. It's you're living a lot of people's dreams out there, you know? A lot of people aspire to do haunted house full time.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure. And I know that because there are like, I have friends in the industry from all over that talk about like, hey, how do I do this full time? And the real answer to that is that anybody can do this full time. You just have to, there's only one secret. There's two secrets. The first secret is learn how to do everything. This business is a lot broader than scaring people and jumping out and saying boo. It is a legitimate business. I mean, Dark Hour is a multi-million-dollar haunted house with a multi-million-dollar infrastructure behind it. And learning how those things work and actually paying attention to what happens, while you're here, while you're getting ready and all that stuff is super important. And the second thing is be ready to move at a moment's notice. I've lived in probably for some amount of time 10 states in the last 4 years,
Yeah.
like a lot of moving, because with my last company, there were 8 haunted houses, and I was for every opening day of those haunted houses, I was at it.
Oh, wow.
So 1 second,
Yeah,
guys.
you're good.
Go for Teddy.
What's your 20?
I am doing an interview right now. Is this something that Lexi can handle?
Yes. Jacob for Lexi.
Perfect.
On my way to you.
Get to use my editing skills now. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. I needed a drink anyways. But where was I? Oh yeah. So I was at Be Ready to Move at any time. Yeah, I mean, with my last company, like I said, I was at every opening night.
Yeah.
And I was, because as a creative director, that's kind of a broad term. The parts of the creative that I dealt with was the story writing, not only that, the actor training, the character creation, the everything that went into making the show, all of the creative aspects of the show. So, doing, actor training, all that stuff had to be at every show to make sure that, the teams that we had in place that were being held accountable and
Right.
like a lot of different stuff like that. And of course we were building these haunts as well. I mean, I wasn't just a creative director. I was, building scenes, just dressing their scenes, doing all the art stuff. So we set it up to where we could have someone from the corporate, which was pretty much what I was and all the people in that group, be at every haunt. So I was moving constantly. Even when I took the job, I had to move from Louisville to Indianapolis, and then we're going to Connecticut, we're going to Oklahoma, we're going to
That's always on the
North
move.
Carolina. Yeah. So my willingness to just throw my life in a dumpster and just go
Yeah.
is kind of what started this journey, and my willingness to move to Texas in 2 weeks notice is what
2
got me
weeks
here.
notice. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we left our last job, we were done. Like we were like, we're just gonna do industry adjacent things. So
Right.
my business partner and I, we actually got jobs as directors of an event company that did like millionaire parties.
Oh,
So
cool.
I was going to be the creative director for those. So basically setting up how these parties are going to look, and he was going to work on the technical side and do the same thing with the lighting and the fog and all the things that they would want at their parties. We accepted those jobs, and we probably got out of the interview and instantly got the call
Right.
from Alan. So,
Oh, wow.
and then so it was like, do we stay here for this sure thing? Do we make the decision to jump? And we called him and we said, all right, we're coming.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, and it was probably one of the better moves we've made. So,
Yeah.
So we got to come here and work with this awesome haunted house. I got surprised, put into a director's position just based on I had the experience. I mean, I've been running haunted houses I've been working in them for 21-ish years, but I've been running them for over a decade now. So
Okay.
it's one of those things that I had the experience. I was available to do so. I initially came here and said I just want to act and do some makeup.
Yeah.
Because those are two things that I enjoy doing, and that changed quick, but that's okay.
Right.
That's happened to me just about everywhere I've gone in the last 10 years. Is like I come in and I'm like, yeah, I do have a lot of experience, so sometimes I have to bear the butt of that and just go.
Right. Because you're the experienced
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. So, and it's not a bad thing. If this is the best case scenario in which I've taken that responsibility, and it's been awesome. It's been super awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like you've worked at all kinds of crazy haunted attractions and
Yeah. I've worked at a lot of haunted houses, even if it was just like guest acting or
Yeah.
doing things like that, or doing actor training at other haunted houses. I mean, with the group here from Stillby Studios, I mean, I've gotten to do actor training at Woods of Terror. I've gotten to do actor training at Atrox Factory in Alabama. I've gotten to do a lot of crazy actor trainings, and then even on my own, I got to go to Nebraska and train a haunt there. It's been a wild ride. So, I've got to see how a lot of different shows run.
right.
So I pick up a lot of do's and don'ts from that experience, and I've also been at the bottom at a lot of haunted houses, like just acting, like seeing how the middle management works, seeing
Right.
like what horrible or great things are coming out of that. So
Right.
it's been a really good learning experience the first 10 years I was doing this, of like what not to do, and it's been a really good learning experience the last 10 years, learning from industry leaders and stuff like that, and how to right fit our staff and do all the things that we need to do to have a good show. So being able to just go and do and be everywhere and try everything has been
Yeah.
that is also an invaluable asset. So I would say that if you ever want to do this for a living, go learn.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about being there and doing it.
Right. And of course we have like trade shows and all
Yeah.
the things that have multiple learning opportunities. And I will say this more than anything, I still go to classes at Transworld every
Mm-hmm.
year. I take a class. I take 2 or 3 classes. This year I'm taking as many classes as I can,
Yeah.
because I'm a teacher at Transworld, so I get to go to them for free.
Oh, cool.
But like regardless of that, even if I weren't, I would still pay for at least 1 or 2 classes, because
Yeah.
even if I do something and I do it at a professional level, there are people out there that do things differently or better than me that I need to learn, and a lot of people need to recognize that in themselves, that like, hey, I could go learn something
Right.
from this, even if it's a bad thing, even if it's something I definitely don't want to do. I'll know, okay, I'll never try that because that sucks. But like, there's that's the reason why, like, I'll go to any haunted house,
Right. Just check it out.
even if it's a yard haunt.
Yeah.
I'll go. Like,
Yeah.
because if there's nothing good I can take, which I can almost guarantee you, there always is something good you can take from any haunted house.
Right.
There's also stuff that I can take that I don't want to do. Like, I'm
Right.
like, oh yeah, I would never do that. So good to reinforce that in my mind.
Right.
I didn't know I would never do it, but now I know.
Right.
So,
You don't know till you know, you
Right.
know?
right.
So.
So it's important to just have a lot of experiences, because it all builds up and forms you into whatever type of
Right.
professional you want to be. And now I don't just work in haunted houses. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a themed attraction person now. I'm not necessarily
Okay.
just
Yeah.
a haunt person.
You're doing
So, yeah,
all
we're
kinds
doing
of stuff.
escape rooms, big events, like all
Yeah.
types of stuff. So
That's cool. Like, it feels like to me, the more people I talk to who do it full time, they have a diverse things that they do. They not only do haunt, but they do, props, or maybe they do parties or whatever, escape rooms,
Right.
or they got their hands in lighting, or they got their hands in like a different form of art, or they're diversifying, you know what I'm saying,
For sure.
of the stuff that they can do, because
Yeah.
haunted houses are a pretty niche
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, that's kind of you got to think about it from the haunted house owner's standpoint. Do I want to hire a person that costumes, or do I want to hire a person that does costumes and makes masks and can paint sets and can do all of these other things as well as make costumes? Like,
Right.
our costume director is not just behind a sewing machine all day. She's making masks, she's making latex, she's making molds, she's doing all types of stuff.
Right.
And that's everybody here.
Yeah.
Nobody that works here does one thing. The closest would be Chris. But that's because he's a goat builder, and we always have build projects. So it's
Right.
not often he gets to stray off of that. But he can also do scenic. He can do a lot of other stuff too.
Right.
So it's
About being diverse.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be able to throw anybody on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gathered that you guys are very about not rushing, like trying to get your show ready, so there's nothing rushed. Like here, just being here today, it was very laid back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And though it's an off-season event and stuff like that, it seemed like all the managers and stuff like that I talked to is all laid back.
Hey, man.
Even Alan himself,
Yeah.
laid back, cool as cat.
Yeah.
Not running around.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's just part of the. We worked really hard to build the infrastructure to what it is, but at the same time, like, we hear that during season, like when guest actors come, or when we have, returning actors that were here many years ago and they come back, they're like,
Yeah.
it's so quiet and calm. Why is that? Why is there not like more yelling and skittering and running and all that thing? I'm like, because we got it figured out, man.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, there's no problems. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing, is all of the problems come from call-ins, and those aren't a problem. Like, whereas some casting directors would stress out really hard. It's like, oh no, I've got, someone called in and now I don't know how to fill it. I was like, well, luckily for season, I hire 140 people,
Yeah.
and I only need 70.
Right.
Well,
So you
like,
can
so-
hope some extra are going to show up.
Yeah, well, the big thing is like they don't show up unless I tell them to.
Right.
So it's, if they're scheduled for that show, they come in.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not scheduled for that show, most of them are willing to just sit on standby.
Yeah.
But we also have on deck, which is we have 4 people come in just to come in for the first 2 hours. We pay them for the 2 hours.
Yeah.
If I don't use them, they get to go home or they get to walk the show.
Cool.
We give them a free ticket to see the show. If I do use them, you get to work the night.
Cool.
Um,
Do you have like actors that are in the same spot that just do the whole season?
Some, yeah.
Yeah,
Usually
some.
witches. Our
Witches.
witches are usually in the same spot.
Uh-huh.
But our haunted house is a little bit more roamy than most.
Yeah.
So a lot of our actors they can be moved anywhere, and they're kind of going to do something similar, just character changes. And
Right.
I mean, we do 8 weeks of training during the off season.
8 weeks.
Yeah, to make sure that that they're prepared for these changes, and they get a lot of time. And that's my biggest thing, and has always been my biggest thing, is that 2 days of actor training for your season starts is never enough.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Because that's something that's something I want to start helping do. Like my home haunt is train actors, because I think that's something we need to work on as a haunt, especially to people who, that try out and then, they're coming from like stage acting.
right.
Because play acting and haunted house acting, it's 2 different things. Like you've got the skills to act, obviously, but being in that environment, in there,
It's different.
and being on a stage is different.
Well, yeah. So the thing that I've always said is that, like, stage actors, theatrical actors, never work in haunted houses.
Yeah.
Dark Hour is the exception, but that's because we get to put a lot of time into preparing them for what normally you only get 2 days to prepare for,
Right.
and that's acting for 8 hours straight, 2 days in a row, all throughout October. And shows don't run like that for stage actors.
Yeah.
They just don't have the stamina. So, or they don't have the mental, like,
Yeah.
to be in a character
Yeah,
like that.
I agree.
And stay in it and do that
Yeah.
for thousands upon thousands of people.
You just get beat to shit as a
Yeah.
haunted house. You gotta love it.
and during season, dark hours align, like,
Yeah.
through, like, all the way through it, like it's a conga line.
Yeah.
Like
That's just what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. We've designed it so the scares work that way, and
Right.
we did our best. But we get a lot of people through here, so it's
Yeah.
it's hard on actors. especially ones that aren't ready.
Rue said it's like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Haunted house, Swiss cheese.
Oh yeah, there's more holes in it than you could ever count.
Yeah.
There are holes that I haven't found. I've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, Rue will hit one, and I'm like, "What?" That opens. Like so, it's
It's a playground.
yeah, it is definitely a playground of a haunted house. There's a lot of space to move. There's a lot of space to run around and stuff like that, and a lot of like I said before, some like stage actors aren't used to having to do that.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more roaming than most haunted houses. We don't have people confined to a 5 foot by 5 foot square that they pop out of and go
Right.
back in. Right now we are running 50,000 square feet off of 28 actors,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel dead
Yeah.
because they're going.
Good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going.
Yeah. In Hellscream, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you got, it's an old office building. So some actors, they got 2 or 3 rooms
Yeah.
to roam. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people like me who have a whole floor because it's 3 floors. So I have a whole floor I run around all night
Right.
long, and I never stop. Like, it's just
Yeah. Just keep
constant
it
all
going.
night long.
Yeah. And I can't do stuff like that anymore. So thank God I don't have to. But I've got a lot of kids that can.
Yeah.
I've got, I would say, a large portion of our cast, if not all of them, are some of the best in the country that I've had the pleasure of working with, and they're just about it, man. Like they're super about it. And during season, even though we double the number,
Yeah.
it's almost hard to think about what that haunted house is like with double the people.
Right.
Like after walking through what I just walked through, like yeah, there's some down spots, but like you're still getting hits. Like a lot of people are getting hits. During season, it's chaos.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
It's chaos.
You want it to be kind of chaos.
Yeah,
So you want it to
so-
be organized chaos.
Right. I think that I think that haunted houses need to let up the reins a little bit too, because a lot of haunted houses don't realize that freedom is what keeps people.
Right.
Like being able to make their own characters, being able to run around, be able to have fun.
Yeah.
We have run a pretty tight ship. Alan is very, very big on his creative will and making sure that it is imposed on Dark Hour in the appropriate way. But there are a lot of things that, especially now more than ever, he is like, I'll ask him a question like, hey, what character do you want here? He's like, ask my casting director. I'm like, okay. Like
Oh,
he
cool.
lets us make a lot of the decisions because he trusts us to, and then
Right.
I then let my actors make a lot of decisions because I trust them to.
Right.
Of course, we help them through those decisions and making sure that they're well placed and proper and the things that they need to be doing. But at the end of the day, every actor here can come in, make a costume, make a character for the witch that they want to represent, and go.
Right.
So and then they get to run around and have fun
Right.
with it and get 7 or 8 scares if they want. They can
Yeah.
get 1, they can get 2, they can get 12. It's up to them.
Right.
So it's that kind of freedom really gives them some ownership
Uh-huh.
over what they're doing, and
Right.
I think that that's important. So
Yeah. That's cool.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, it's about letting them have a little bit of leadway to do whatever.
Right,
You
right.
know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not letting them come in and build 25-foot tall sets, but
Right.
we have a team for that. But if they, if they want to build a character, or even we have nights where we have a bunch of actors come in and help with like building sets, like all
Right.
the corn stalks and our
The hard stuff.
Yeah.
That's super time consuming.
yeah, all of the tedious
Yeah.
stuff. If they want to come help, they can, and we set up nights for it. We're like, hey, we're gonna make 300 corn stalks. You want to come?
Yeah.
And more than often, they're like, yep.
Yeah.
So it's,
Which is awesome. Yeah, like when we did our Christmas event,
Mm-hmm.
people showed up to help do lights and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I got to play the Scrooge. I was an old man Scrooge. That was fun.
that sounds super
I was
fun.
like, I talk like this the whole night.
Oh, that would actually suck.
Yeah, it was
That would-
awesome.
that would-
I had a great time.
yeah, good.
But I kind of like torturing myself. So
Well, as we all do, it's kind of
Yeah.
part of our jobs.
yeah, it's a it's like it's the most fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. There's like I was telling Alan earlier. There's jobs I've quit over Haunt.
Oh yeah, so
Like
Yeah.
real jobs.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way that before I did this full time, so I've been doing this full time as my only job for 4 years now.
Okay.
5 years now. Before I did this, I would go to work my 9 to 5. I would get off work, go to the haunted house, work another 8 hours, then I would go home. And I
Right.
would do that, and then on the weekends, if I could go, I would go do it. And then during haunt season, I would only take a job if I could work the haunt during season.
Right.
So if that job didn't let me off Friday by 4 p.m. and off Saturday, Sunday, I would be like, I can't take it.
Yeah.
Or if they were like, well, we're going to change your schedule, I'll be like, I quit.
Yep.
I quit for these 2 months and I go get another one.
Yep.
So, and that's pretty much how the first, until I started full time, that's how I worked. Like,
Yeah.
I would either A, find a job that would let me do what I need to do, or B, I'd quit. Every
Yep.
season, find a new job. Every
Yep.
season, find a new job.
Yeah.
Which, was kind of easy because I'd gotten pretty well ingrained with IT. That was my job before
Okay.
this. And then once you get a lot of experience in that, you can pretty much get a job anytime.
Yeah.
So
I say the same about the restaurant industry because, I've worked in restaurants since I was 18, I think.
Right.
So 10 years now. And if you're a good restaurant worker and you've got people saying to vouch for you that, yeah, he knows how to cook and he knows how to use a knife, you go right down to the next place and get a job like that,
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's a good place to be in if you want to do this. So
yeah.
Yep.
It's, yeah. The show tonight was really amazing. Can't wait to get a second pair of eyes on it again,
Heck yeah, go through as many times as you want, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I've really appreciate you guys' hospitality out here and stuff like that. It's really cool,
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were gonna be here. Alan's like, you know this guy, right? I'm like, no.
Really, because I told Alan and Rue, the two contacts I did have here, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come out and do some podcasts. Like, tell your crew I'm gonna be here, see if they want to talk and
Yeah.
do it. And
Uh,
they're busy.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you guys. Alan is old. Alan, though one of the smartest guys I know, one of the most thoughtful guys I know, he has old man memory. So, it happens. Sometimes he'll be like, yeah, I'll tell everybody, and
Right.
it escapes immediately. But I'm glad that I caught you while, pre-show. That way I could agree to come in here and chat with
Yeah,
you.
it was
I love
really cool.
talking Haunt.
I really loved seeing your guys' actor meeting and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like a fine. I like how you guys do stretches together. That's really cool.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
that was before my time. That was I think that's been a part of Dark Hour since the beginning. Is they're really big about doing stretches. Doing vocal warm ups, doing all the things that we can possibly do to keep them safe throughout the night. Because we have a whole office dedicated to EMT. We have EMTs on site. If somebody gets hurt, they get to go lay down on the comfy couch and get doctored up. But we don't want that.
Right.
We don't want to have to deal with those types of problems. So we do as much mitigation as we can. Teaching them how to stretch, making sure they can do their vocal warm ups and stuff like that. So
Yeah. The stretch is cool. You guys got a cool chant.
yeah.
That chant was cool.
Haka. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Samoan war chant. So.
Oh, so
Yeah.
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 That's cool.
yeah.
I think every haunt kind of has their own little chant they do.
Yeah.
So
Our ending chant is the I am scary, because at the end of the day, over anything, even over entertaining them, they are scary.
yeah.
So, and that's controversial.
Yeah, our one, we have two of them, but the one that really gets everyone really amped up is we're the predators and they're the prey, and that's our little
Yeah.
amp up, yeah,
Right.
let's go.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
yeah,
That would get
predators
me-
and prey,
That would get me hyped in the metal kind of way. I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna kill him.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Our goal is to kill them to death without killing them to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the goal. Kill the death without killing the death.
Yeah.
You have to have a reason why the customer lives.
Right. Exactly. The way that we teach our actors is like, you guys are serial killers. You guys are murderers, monsters, but you
Yeah.
have a 0% kill rate.
Yeah.
You are the worst serial killers in the world, but I'll be damned if you don't try your
Right.
hardest to do it.
Right.
So you always have to swing and a miss, but damn it, you better.
Yeah, what
miss.
happened? Well,
Yeah.
I broke my leg.
Yeah. Like anything. Any reason that you can miss is,
Yeah.
is
It's,
the reason why you did it.
I seen this guy over here, his blood was redder.
Yeah. Right. Right. Our big thing that, especially during our slasher show, is since everybody has the knives, they kind of all default to getting it stuck in things.
Oh, yeah.
Like our Jasons and our Jacobs and
Jacobs.
our Shrieks that are not.
It's like the
Scream.
Kirkland brand.
Yeah, right. And, they do a really good job at like swinging into a door frame and being like,
Yeah.
like getting stuck while they run away and stuff
Right.
like that. So it's been pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely have to hit the back of the group one time. Because you really get to see all the nuanced things that they do.
Okay.
Like they're all super.
Yeah, I have to do that.
Like most of our actors are some kind of theater Ren Fair. Like
Yeah.
Like they really do think about like those nuanced things.
Right.
So you could really get to see it from a far spectator's
Right.
view. And it's things for them, but also the customers. But the biggest thing we tell them is if a customer looks back at you, you still need to be the monster.
Yeah.
That they saw just right in front
Right.
of them. So
360 scare.
right.
Yeah.
So gotta make sure that
Meaning
that happens
all
Yeah.
the time, all on your toes all the time.
Right.
Even if you're drinking some water, on your toes all the time.
Right.
Because you can be like, oh, drinking poison or whatever.
Yeah. You can fake your way out of anything.
Yeah.
I've only been caught with my phone once by a customer, but
Okay.
I'm so dumb in which that the customers turned the thing and I had my phone on and it was in my face, like illuminating my face.
Yeah.
And like I just barely caught them hit the corner at the very beginning. And I was just like, and I threw it. and they were like, did he just throw that phone?
Hilarious.
And I just continued to tell them how they didn't understand what it was. Like I didn't.
I found it. It's not mine.
Right.
Why is this? Why is this here?
Yeah. So I had to go on, find my phone in a facade that was like on a roof somewhere. So I had to go and get it. But,
Right.
Yeah. But I tossed that sucker.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I've been caught like drinking water a couple times and stuff like that. And usually, I have my like home base and like it's like a phlebotomy room or like an embalming room. So I'll just be like, yeah, I'm drinking embalming fluid. Leave me alone.
Right.
Because it's hard on those really busy nights, man. You gotta hydrate, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in there and get some well-needed water.
Yeah. Luckily with our kids, like if it comes to things that are keeping them alive, we just say leave the scene.
Yeah.
Like just leave the scene for a second, get your drink of water, go back in.
Right. That could be partially my fault for having all my stuff stashed like in the middle of the scene.
Yeah. Maybe.
I kind of like the thrill of like, oh shit, hurry up, drink water,
Right.
go.
Yeah. Alan's kind of the same way. Alan is a very OG haunter in which he will just do everything out in the open and like
Play it off.
Yeah. He's
Like-
he maybe not so much as like I don't think he's ever been caught, but he has these very specific like water jug bags that he can like hide anywhere and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm just gonna keep my stuff in the hallway and I'm gonna circle back around to it and be like, glug glug glug, and then go back in.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to worry about the stress of getting caught. And more than often than not, I'm way too hyper focused on scaring people to even
Right.
consider water. So I'm
Right.
not the best at taking
Yeah,
care
I'm a
of myself.
I'm a very loud, talkative character, so I
Yeah.
got to drink water, else
Oh yeah.
it gets bad very quickly.
Right.
Because this past season, I've said this a million times on this podcast. I played a character where I have a mask where I got my face and I got another face back here, so I'm a two-sided character, and we took a doctor's like outfit and a mental patient outfit, cut it down the middle.
Right.
And so the front side of me was a doctor and the back side was a mental patient.
Oh,
and I'd
wow.
argue with myself all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah, and two different voices too.
Yeah, you need water.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
it's just so much fun though. And then I have customers being like, "Can you shut up already?" Just because I'm just like, it's a nod to the front side of me was named Jonathan. The back side is named Abigail, and it's a nod to King Diamond, the OG that King Diamond is of heavy metal from the metal album Abigail from 1987, I believe, is when it came out, and it takes place in the 1800s. And basically, what happens is this dude, this couple gets married, they inherit a mansion, but 100 years prior to that, this dude found out his wife was cheating on him and had a illegitimate child, and so he killed his wife, and so they inherit this house. And when they inherit the house, the spirit of the unborn child comes back to take over the guy's wife, and eventually ends up killing her. So it's like a story of like really dark tragedy, and it's an album. So that's where Jonathan and Abigail comes from.
Nice.
So
European metal's crazy.
yeah, yeah. That's he's from oh no, where's he from? Somewhere in Europe, Denmark or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Nice.
He was the first. His act Merciful Fate was one of the first openly satanic acts.
Nice.
Yeah, Merciful Fate. Like, and back in the day, he famously dated Anton LaVey's daughter for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Anton LaVey is Satan goat. So
Yeah, he wrote the Satanic Bible.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. What was it like? There was a Satanic Bible, the witch book. I forgot the name of all the books that he wrote. He wrote a ton of them, but yeah, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. So that's
King Diamond's crazy. I know that he was like one of the first people to popularize like corpse paint. Well, not really corpse paint, but like the black metal version of corpse paint.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Like the stuff, like his vocals are just so different compared to everyone else. Like, I don't know how that man. Still, he's like old as dirt, man. He's still up there, just like You're like, how do you get your? I want to learn how to do that for Haunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. You can what is like the art of screaming. There's a lot of actually resources now that like teach you how to do really brutal vocals for long periods of time.
Yeah.
We during our actor workshops pre-season, we actually make our actors watch like the art of screaming and like watch the charismatic voice like on YouTube.
Yeah, I know the charismatic voice. Yeah.
Like and all of those things to help maintain vocal safety. And then we also, show them like Japanese horror and Korean horror and the body language used in it and stuff like that.
Cool.
So they can, just gain more reference.
So show them like Japanese horror movies and stuff?
Yeah.
Or just clips? Or...
Yeah, all of the above. Who's at this door? They keep peeking.
What's up?
Come on in.
Come on in. Don't be shy. Hello.
I'm going to sneak by.
No, you're good.
Work at my desk.
Yeah, it's all
No,
good.
you're fine. I think
it's all good.
Probably close.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah, we have them watch like, whether it be clips or they can go and watch the movies on their own. During the workshops, I show a lot of clips of like, horror from other countries where they have more stylized acting choices and, creatures that move a lot differently.
Right.
So, or from like South America and stuff. Like South American horror is crazy as well.
Is it? Yeah. I know some of them European horror films get crazy as well.
Yeah. So, just try to pump as much influence into them as possible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. What would you say? I would imagine you're also like a horror movie fan and stuff like that.
No.
No?
I'm not.
Really?
No. I don't. I really don't enjoy horror that much.
Okay.
But I study horror.
Okay.
Because horror is kind of my living.
Right.
So I'm definitely more of like a sci-fi kind of person.
You're a sci-fi guy?
Yeah. I don't like horror in the generic sense. Like because when 90% of people hear the word horror, they think of slashers.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I hate that stuff.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of serial killers. I'm not a fan of serial killers. I'm not a fan of like beat 'em ups. I'm not super fan of monsters. There are a lot. There are a lot of monsters that I do like, but not a ton. I'm a big fan of like paranormal horror, psychological horror.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big fan of like like your A24s and stuff like that.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
Hereditary is like one of my favorite horror movies that came out recently.
Yeah.
Because
Suspiria is like a really good one.
Yeah.
Both the original and the remake are amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess I do enjoy. I'm a horror fan, but like not. I'm almost like an elitist butthole about it. Like I'm like I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be lumped in with the guys who like Jason and Freddy. Like it's just not the same.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I never want to like misguide someone into thinking that I enjoy like horror in the most generic way, like Wolfman and all that. Sorry, I shouldn't have chosen Wolfman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alan. But yeah, those are things that I'm typically into. But yeah, what were you gonna ask though? Sorry.
Oh, no worries. It was like not a big deal.
What was my favorite?
So, what was your favorite sci-fi movie then? If you're a sci-fi guy.
Okay, well I'll tell you my favorite horror movie too.
Okay.
My favorite horror movie. Right now or all time?
All time.
Suspiria. The remake.
Okay.
The remake of Suspiria. Right now, Let Me In.
Oh, Let Me In's good. Yeah. Yeah.
I just rewatched it and I was like, oh, that's good stuff.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like,
But
the tone of Let Me In is just so dark.
yeah.
It's so dark.
Yeah, I really like it's subtle. It's a nice subtle piece and I really enjoy it.
And I think it came out around the time that like Twilight came out and stuff like that. So it was nice to have. You know what I'm saying? I had a sister.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Twilight was big, and
I got so lucky. I dodged that. I dodged that
geez.
so much. I didn't like until like one of my more recent partners in life. I never watched a single Twilight movie.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I never even saw a clip.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I've been dodging this so
I
well.
got dragged to because as a teenage boy, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do what you got to
Yeah,
do.
even as an adult man, sometimes you got to do what you just got to suck it up.
true.
Sometimes,
Very true,
sometimes
yeah.
you got to go see a movie you don't want to see.
Right. And it happens like that. My favorite sci-fi movie is Oblivion.
Oblivion. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's actually sci-fi horror.
Oh, cool.
It's so hard to explain, but there's like a weird veil, and if you cross the veil, you're in this weird alternate dimension thing, and it's super visual, and it's crazy. It's a really good movie.
That's cool.
So
That's
I'd advise
awesome.
anybody go check it out if you care about visual art a lot.
I have to go check it out.
Yeah.
I like movies that are like really artsy and
Yeah.
weird. Like I really like the house that Jack built.
I haven't seen
It's a horror. It's a horror movie, but like it's kind of artsy because the dude like. Or so he's like a serial killer, but he's like making art out of the bodies he kills,
Okay.
and it's about basically his just complete descent into madness. It's loosely based on Dante's Inferno.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a cool movie. It's just so. It's different.
Right.
I like different horror movies. You know what I'm saying? I love Evil Dead
Oh yeah, I love Evil Dead as well.
because it's just so over the top. That's what I like about
love
Evil
the
Dead.
remakes. I love the original. I love Army of Darkness. I love everything Evil Dead. Period.
Yeah.
I'm a very big fan. There's one slasher movie that I like, and it is Behind the Mask, the story of Leslie Vernon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super good. It's kind of like hokey and not really a horror movie, but it is. I also really like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I consider that kind of a slasher
That's a
movie.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah, I think horror comedy. I love horror comedy.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah, me too.
Like right now, my favorite TV show is What They Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
It's
yeah.
so funny, dude.
Yeah. I think like for me to truly embrace the stereotypical term of horror, it has to have something weird going on.
Yeah.
So whether it be comedy or weird
Right.
artsy fartsy stuff or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, I get made fun of a lot working in this industry or even just here, and they're like, "Oh my god, I love Freddy Krueger," and I'm like, I don't give a crap about Freddy
Yeah,
Krueger. I don't even think he's
Kind
that
of-
funny.
I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
I love Michael Myers, but that's about
Right.
about it, man. But
Yeah.
like only like the original, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sequels to Halloween are fucking awful.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry if you don't think Halloween 3 is awful, you're wrong. You need to go back and rewatch it.
So, I don't like anything like Freddy or Michael and Jason kind of sit in the same headspace for me. However, I loved the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Okay, yeah,
Like I loved them.
yeah, they're good.
Especially the second one that was like really off the rocker weird.
Right.
Like I was like, oh yeah, that's like this is some serial killer content I can get behind. But like anything else, I just can't, man.
Right.
I don't know why. I've never been able to.
Those Rob Zombie movies, the scene where I don't remember if it's in the first one or the second one, but there's a scene where like Michael Myers, he's like walking down the street and this little kid runs up to him and he's like, "Are you a giant? Do you want to be friends? Bye." Michael Myers is just like standing there like, just like it's so funny. It's such a random moment.
I do like Jason X.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
Jason X is
seen-
another. It's a horror movie. A slasher
just weird,
that just
though.
has very strange circumstances thrown at it. That I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like Freddy versus Jason. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's kind of like I kind of like
Yeah.
the ending. The ending's so like cute, but
Right.
I didn't like it a ton. The what else? I don't know.
Yeah.
Horror movies, man.
There's so many good ones
Yeah,
out there.
there's a lot of good ones and a lot of really
Bad ones. Yeah, because sometimes I can be, like you were saying, sometimes I can be that guy about horror movies, you know? So I get it. So I'm to be real picky. Like I hate like the average paranormal like movies. Like I can't stand like The Conjuring or stuff like that because I'm like, so just it's not my thing, man.
I don't dislike those movies,
Yeah.
but they're definitely like the low hanging fruit of paranormal horror.
Yeah.
Like I think that if you really want to do paranormal horror well, you kind of have to incorporate a possession of some kind, like in a
Right.
really cool way.
Right.
And they kind of like touch on it and then they throw it away, and I'm like, I don't care about your little.
Right. That's what made Hereditary cool.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the extreme that movie goes to is just
Oh, it's
so
great.
cool. It's so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
What's the name of the most recent one? The A24. It was with the hand.
I don't think I've seen that one. It's the most recent one. I don't think I've seen
I
it
don't know
yet.
why my
Yeah.
brain's, but it's a super cool thing is that they have this hand. It's like a it's like
I think I've seen the
basically-
trailer for this.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. And it is a embalmed hand of like that has like a link to the spirit world, and basically
Yeah.
you can shake the hand, say a thing, which is the title of the movie that I'm blanking on, and it will then open the veil and let the spirits around you like talk to you or communicate through you. They basically possess you.
Right.
And then you can do it for 7 seconds, and then you can let go of the hand and everything's fine. But apparently it has the same effect of like drugs.
Oh,
So
shit.
like everybody's like they love it. They're like, oh, I feel great.
Yeah.
But during that time they're fully possessed, and like they have random spirit number 27 and them doing whatever they would do, like serial killers,
Right.
all the thing. And I was like, man, what a concept.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
It is
Oh,
Talk
okay.
to me. Yeah.
Got it.
That movie, it's like in my top 5 probably.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's amazing. Heck yeah.
Thanks,
Well,
Al.
I appreciate you doing this. This has
Yeah,
been
buddy.
fun. Cool. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Appreciate
Our
it.
fist bump.
Hell yeah.
There you go.